I will go through and show you some different types of soil amendments and stuff that you could be incorporating into your landscaping and your gardens this fall to get things ready for the spring. Also, we can do some planting and just freshen up of your pottery and of your landscaping around. I'm here in Southern California, so our growing season pretty much goes 365, but we do slow down from time to time, especially in the wintertime, to do some additions of fertilization and nutrients and just to get the plants a break. So I'm going to take you through and show you some of the plant materials or some of the landscape soil amendments and stuff that we use here in Southern California. And I know that some of these amendments are sold nationwide, if not in other countries also. So take a look and take a tour. Okay, I'm over here in West Long Beach, West Side, and just going to show you some different types of plant amendments that they have available here. And I mentioned to you that some of these products are probably sold at the big box stores, at the different home centers, and at the nurseries. So take a look, and if you see them, you know a little bit more about them as we go through. One of the amendments we have here is called acid planting mix for azaleas, camellias, rhododendrons, and other acid-loving shade plants. It's very important. A lot of plants that are grown in the shade or that are more at home in shade, they like more of an acidy type soil. I used to live up in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. It's a lot of pine trees and stuff up there, and there's a lot of acid-loving plants, azaleas, rhododendrons, and stuff like that. And so with this pine trees in the areas, there's a lot of just acidy soil in that Pacific Northwest region. Here in Southern California, unless you go up in the high Sierras or something like that, or over in the foothills in the mountains, San Bernardino Mountains, we don't have that much of an acidy type of soil. And even in those areas, it's not as much acid, say like it was in the Northwest. But one of the things that is in this particular bag is, it says ferrous sulfate. It has 0.09% of this analysis in here, but it says good for azaleas, camellias, rhododendrons, and other acid shade loving plants. The coverage for a bag like this is 192 square foot at 1/8 inch deep, or 96 square feet, or that's 24 square feet for 1 inch deep. So when you're doing planting and whatnot, if you want to do a top dress, this is probably a really great mix to put on the top of your plants to help leach down some good nutrients down to your acid loving plant material. Over here, what we have here, we have a premium potting soil, ideal for all indoor and outdoor potting. Includes core for moisture retention. And core is a byproduct of coconut shells, and it's very absorbent, and it holds water pretty well. I don't use it that much, but I've known of other nurseries or other guys that have bought it from other nurseries and have used it in their plantings in order to help retain a little bit more water and moisture around the root ball. And that's just one of the additives that they have in here in this particular bag of nutrients or soil amendments. I don't see here we go. It has peat moss, core, pumice, recycled forest products, rice hulls, bark fines, composted chicken manure, oregano, kelp meal, worm castings, dolomite, and oyster shell. So it has a lot of nutrients in here. Sometimes this is kind of overkill depending on where you're doing the job and what you want to do. Sometimes people go out and they buy all this stuff and they put it in their soil, and kind of find out that the plants go into shock, or they freak out, because a lot of times the plants, they already have a lot of the nutrients that they need inside of the planting mix that they're grown in. And a lot of the nurseries, they use a slow release fertilizer so that they can be able to keep the plants up and looking healthy until the time that they're purchased. Say like mostly all these plants out here, they either have been fertilized with a slow release fertilizer. So each time they water, some of the fertilizer works off of the plant, or works off of the fertilization pellet, and it fertilizes the plant material, and it's ready to go. So a lot of times what's inside of the mix of the plants, you don't necessarily have to add it to the soil because it's already inside of the plant material in the planting mix that they plant the plants in. So keep that in mind. One of the best ways to find out if you have a nutrient lack is to have a soil test done. And there's different labs that do soil testing. I usually do soil testing in all of our projects that we do to make sure that whatever nutrient contents that are lacking, we can add it, but also we can understand the infiltration rate of the soil. So we do a lot of drip irrigation. So this way we can help gauge how long to run the sprinkler system, because we know how fast the water permeates into the soil. So keep that in mind. But you can go online for soil testing kits and probably get one for free. Your local extension, county extensions probably have availability for soil testing also. Here's one of the products that's probably sold nationwide at the different large box stores and nurseries. It's the Kelloggs products. Kelloggs is a family-owned company here in Southern California. They've been around for a long time, but this is an all-purpose indoor and outdoor mix. I use this a lot. Actually, I picked up a bag of this today in order to fill out some pots that we're doing out at a job I'm doing out in Glendale, and we need to top off the fruits and herbs, indoor pots, outdoor pots. It's people, pet, and plant safe. That's very important, because people nowadays, they have a lot of pets, especially dogs. They want to make sure nothing is going to harm their pooch, the little kid. Great for indoor, outdoor use. Kind of a breakdown of the makeup in here. Recycled forest products, rice hulls, composted poultry manure, perlite, kelp, meal, and worm castings. So it doesn't have as much as the last bag we looked at. The other bag was packed with all kind of stuff. This has just a basic makeup of the materials. The composted poultry manure, the perlite is for the water retention. The kelp is to help with the greening and to help with the root growth. The kelp meal and the worm castings are good because it helps from the plant standpoint of the nutrients and the bioactivity of the soil. The rice hulls are to help to be able to keep the soil so that moisture can go through it. It keeps it, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but it keeps the soil permeated, so that way when you water, if you have kind of like clay or clay type soils, this is good because it's going to help to break up that tenacity of the soil so the water can percolate. And recycled forest products, it's like it leaves and just about composted material. So this is a fantastic potting soil to use. And sometimes what you want to do is mix some of this with regular topsoil. Sometimes people just buy this and put everything, their new plant, inside of a container with just all this planting mix in it. And my suggestion is to do a little bit of a mix of regular topsoil if necessary, or if possible, some native plant soil from the yard if you have a yard, or pick up a bag of just topsoil and do a mix of this potting mix and some of the topsoil. That'll help get some of the biological activity happening in the soil, and it kind of buffers out some of the nutrients that's inside here, because they didn't have pretty much any topsoil in here. So this is mostly materials that have been added in order to build a catalyst for the potting soil. So by adding in some regular good old dirt, it's going to be very beneficial. The next thing that you have here is this Organic Plus. The Organic Plus is a topper. Now this topper is good for the soil, for lawns and sod and seed, and also for mulching. We use this a lot when we do mulching in our jobs. Put this over the top. It's going to be good as it breaks down. It adds nutrients to the soil. And from the standpoint of when you do new lawns or new seeding, this is a great seed topper, because what happens is sometimes the birds come in and they rob you of your seed. But also, if the seed doesn't have any type of cover over it, it'll dry out, and it maybe germinate, but it'll end up dying because there's no protection over it. But the seed topper does, it helps to top the seed in order to protect it and to keep it moist. And then that way you can be able to guarantee the success of your overly seeded lawn. Inside of this bad boy, see if I can flip it over right quick. Yeah. Inside of this one, you have the dehydrated poultry meal, hydrolyzed feather meal, ferrous sulfate, and recycled forest products, composted dairy manure, composted poultry manure, and hydrolyzed feather meal. So this is really good though. I use it a lot from the standpoint of topping off a yard and just giving it some nutrients and just going over the top. They have these little machines, or this instrument called a squirrel cage. We call it a squirrel cage. You can rent them at the rental yards. And what it is, it's a round type water roller, but it's not a water roller. It's a screen roller that when you put this product inside of it and push it, it has the different holes in it so that the product falls through the holes and you're able to apply it evenly. Other than that, I see guys slinging this stuff by hand, but the best way to do it and to do it professionally is to get one of those squirrel cages or a soil, or they call it manure applicator, but we don't really put down manure. Here is manure, steer manure. A lot of guys use this. They buy the cheap bags of that stuff, probably like about a couple dollars or whatever a bag. Some places the guys go and they bag it up themselves. It says weed free and fine screen. This is the first time I've ever seen a bag of this kind of stuff where it says weed free. That's kind of hard to imagine, because most steers, unless they really control the pasture where these things are grazing at, most steer manure is going to have weed seeds in it, because these steers are grazing grass out in the middle of the field, unless they're in a controlled environment where the grass that they're being fed is definitely weed free, which is a possibility. And that may make the bag a little bit more costly, but if they say it doesn't have weeds in it, I'll take them for their word for it. But I don't use steer manure, so I can't really tell you. It does stink. I can kind of smell it now that I flipped it over. Top dressing, use one bag, covers 96 square feet. Ingredients: composted steer manure. A lot of times, because it's composted, it'll kill the weed seeds. So in essence, they say, hey, it's weed free because the composting action kills the seed, the weed seeds. So, okay, if you say so, but I'm not going to put this stinky stuff down at my job site or at a client's job site and have them wait till this thing dissipates through the air, this stink, and just to get what I want. I'd rather use some of the other products and pay maybe a little bit more money and have the peace of mind knowing that I'm not going to have any weeds, but also I don't have to wear a mask when I'm walking around on my site, or a client has visitors that's coming to their home. I'm going to show you a couple other things, and then I'll call it a wrap. Here is your palm, cactus, and citrus all-purpose indoor and outdoor mix, also made by the Kelloggs Organics family. And I like Kellogg's because, like I say, you can probably find these products nationally, if not internationally. So some of this other stuff you may be able to find, maybe not. But this is made exclusively for palms, cactuses, succulents, palm and tropical trees, citrus trees. Pots are in ground. It's people, pet, and planet safe. And so let's see what they got going on here. We have recycled forest products, pumice, sand, bark fines, dehydrated poultry manure, hydrolyzed feather meal, and it's good for cactuses and citrus. And the great thing about it is it's going to be able to drain quickly, absorbs water quickly, and provides excellent drainage. Ideal for indoor or outdoor use. Succulent citrus trees, the small bag, but as you can see, it's made exclusively for cactuses, succulents, and citrus and plant material that doesn't like a lot of water sitting around on this root base. So I would recommend, or I would suggest, that you try this out if you have some potted plants that you want to repot to give it a fresh new outlook on life here in the winter, or to add to some areas that you want to add some nutrient level, but also make sure you have proper drainage so you don't use this straight soil. So the palm and cactus and citrus all-purpose indoor and outdoor mix. We're going to jump over here to the grow mulch. It's a 2-in-1 planting mix and mulch. This is great. This is one of the benchmark and premier products from the Kellogg Corporation, Kellogg's Organics. It's good for trees and shrubs, roses, mulch, and also is people and planet safe. And let's see what's inside of this bad boy. We have recycled forest products, arbor fines, composted dairy manure, composted poultry manure, dehydrated poultry manure, and hydrolyzed feather meal. So just a lot of different composted nutrients and forest products. But this right here is excellent. I mean, you put some of this down and mix it into the soil, I don't know what happens, but it attracts the earthworms. They just come in there and they love it. And so if you want to make sure that you have a lot of worm activity and just biological type stuff going on, you want to use the grow mulch, or at least try it out in the area and see what you think. Also, from a mulching standpoint, we use this mulch when I do rose pruning. When I was doing maintenance, I always did all my roses after I pruned them and treat them with some different sprays and stuff like that, prevent any type of bugs harboring into the stalks or the canes. We top dress with the grow mulch. We used about a 2-inch layer of grow mulch around the base of the roses, and they just kicked butt. And so this is something that you can consider for right now, especially folks back east and down in the south doing the mulching and stuff like that. Get some grow mulch, do a test drive in a particular area, especially if you have roses, and give me a comment in the comment section. I'll send you a special gift if you let me know what's going on, how things happen with you. I have a special gift for those who give me a comment in that comment. And the last thing I'm going to talk about here, if I can get up there and show you, it's called Amend. It's made out of rice hulls. The primary ingredient, I'm not going to climb up on top of the bags, but the primary ingredient in this particular product that's made by Kellogg's is rice hulls. So a good portion of this is rice hulls and probably composted forest materials and the poultries and the kelps and stuff like that. But the rice hulls is going to help from the standpoint of helping the permeation of water in the soil. So this is what you want to use to blend into the soil if you're doing like a new lawn, a new garden or something like that, and the soil seems to be a little heavy or have a higher clay content. And that's where that soil test comes in. I was mentioning soil test is going to tell you where you're at, but this is going to really help you to create that permeability in the soil, but also it lasts in the soil a long time and it degrades naturally. So it's not something, it's not a synthetic type product that you put in there and then, hey man, you know, what's going to happen when it breaks down? What kind of chemicals in there? There's no chemicals. It's all organic stuff. That's the great thing about Kellogg's Organics. It's just what it says, organics. So it's not a bunch of fake crap coming in your bag. All right. So hopefully you was able to pick up some good tips, some ideas, some information that you can be able to use here. And just wanted to remind you to give me a thumbs up, please. And also to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. And share this with your friends. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.